15 years ago, LinkedIn was my secret weapon. I could send messages to people I'd never met. Within a few days, they'd be watching my videos, they'd be visiting my website, reading my LinkedIn profile, and we'd be having a conversation. Today, the exact same platform has become the biggest waste of time when it comes to marketing. But it's actually not for the reason that most people think. The real problem with LinkedIn isn't the abundance of spam there, it's something deeper that's quietly killing your ability to attract leads online. So before you spend another hour posting on LinkedIn, let's talk about what has changed, what LinkedIn is actively doing, and what you should be doing instead. Let's dive right in. Let's rewind back to a period of time before 2015. In 2015, there was a change, okay? So prior to that, I'd figured out a really cool system. It was a system that was working. I was getting clients. People were buying my services because of what I was doing on LinkedIn. Now, you could go into a group, and LinkedIn groups still exist where you could find different niches of people. And I found lots of coaches, I found lots of consultants and professional speakers. And you could send a direct message to people that were your second or third generation connection on LinkedIn. You could message up to 100 people per day. In fact, I think I did 125, something like that. We'll just, for simple math, if you messaged 100 people per day, and there's 30 days in a month, I could message 3,000 people per month. Now, I know what you're thinking because I get a lot of spam messages today. It wasn't like that. Back then, there were people sending out spam, but it was actually pretty rare compared to what we get today. So back then, even though, yeah, people were still sending spam, but it wasn't being flooded. But I didn't do that anyway. I did something completely different. I would compliment them. Now, because I work with coaches, consultants, speakers, and I'd been a part of the National Speakers Association for a long time, I know that all these people are purpose-driven. You'd read their profile, you'd go to their website, and all of them are very mission-driven. They have this desire to really help the world, and so I would compliment them. I would write a message. They were kind of cookie-cutter messages, but it seemed personal, so I would say, "Hey, so-and-so, I checked out your profile and I'm really impressed with what you're doing. You're working hard to make the world a better place. Keep up the good work." So something like that. I would modify it, but basically every day I'd send out 100 messages like that to people. Guess what would happen? I got like a 60 to 70% reply rate. These are what the replies would say. It would say, "Thank you." That was the most basic. Some of them would say, "Thank you. I checked out your profile and you're working hard to change the world too, so keep up the good work yourself." But others would say some of the same things and then add to it, "And I read your whole profile," or "I visited your website," or "I watched your YouTube videos, we should chat," right? All I did was compliment them and people were requesting to chat with me. I could tell you lots of stories and whatnot, but it was a great lead generator because I was messaging 3,000 people every single month. What happened in 2015? In 2015, LinkedIn changed this feature and reduced it down from 3,000 a month, or a little bit more, down to 15 per month. LinkedIn has changed it more. Now it's 10 per month. You can only send 10 messages per month. So anyway, that strategy fell apart. I couldn't use it anymore. And I haven't figured out how to generate leads from LinkedIn ever since. Now, I get a lot of spam on LinkedIn. Spam has gone up exponentially. And I've hired companies in recent years to let's experiment. I see there's a lot of advertising going on LinkedIn. They're sending these messages, they're customized. I tried following their approach. I followed the old approach that I did from clear back before 2015, sending a lot of compliments, and it just didn't work. In a matter of a year, I think I might have had one appointment with someone. Okay, so you might have never heard any of this stuff about LinkedIn. What you know me for is the Leaf strategy and how we leverage YouTube to generate leads from YouTube, Google, and ChatGPT. We do that from leveraging search. Now I'm going to come back in a minute to LinkedIn. Let me frame this and I'll put LinkedIn into the picture. The reason that posting content following the Leaf strategy, the reason that posting content like that to YouTube is so successful is because YouTube content is indexed. So you can search by topic on YouTube and your video will show up in the search results. It's also indexed on Google. If you go to Google, and we'll demonstrate this in a minute, if you go to Google and you type in a topic, you can find lots of things on that topic, including YouTube videos, including blogs. That's why we take all of our YouTube videos and turn them into blog posts as well. What happens if you were to post that video or post an article that you made, on the same topic as that video? What if you put those on LinkedIn? What if you put those on Facebook? Can people find them? No. Only people that are your friends, and only a percentage of people that see those posts. But if I go to LinkedIn search or to Facebook search and I type in a topic, I can't find that article or that video. Now, a few years ago, LinkedIn articles were a small exception. You can't do it as a LinkedIn post, but you could do a LinkedIn article. And I was excited about LinkedIn articles because if you can have content that is indexed and searchable, it fits fully within the LEAF strategy. Meaning the goal of the strategy is to create content that people can find. When people are searching for your expertise, how can we have them find you and see you as the hero? That's what happens when we post content on YouTube. That's what happens with blogs. Stay tuned for Reddit. I'm like deep diving into Reddit right now. But LinkedIn articles, I thought might be the answer. Well, just in the last few years, LinkedIn has been shooting itself in the foot, intentionally removing articles from any results. You can't find articles on LinkedIn search. You can't find articles on Google search. Let's dive in and I'll show you. So this is a search that I did earlier, like how to invest in Airbnb real estate. I know that Noelle Randall spends a lot of time on LinkedIn. I see a lot of posts from her, so I wanted to see, is any of her content here? And I don't find articles anywhere. I see posts. This post was a day ago. This one that was playing was a day ago, 3 days ago, a week ago, 6 days ago. Then I get people. Then I get jobs, then I get groups, and then I'm back to posts, right? Where are the articles? I don't see articles over here. I don't see articles in the menu up here. So wait a minute. Has LinkedIn changed and they don't even index their articles anymore? You can't search for it on LinkedIn. So what if, I'll just take that same question. So if we go to Google, we type in that very same question, how to invest in Airbnb real estate. All right, we've got AI overview, of course. We've got YouTube videos, of course. Then we've got sponsored links, of course. We've got Reddit. That's why we're looking into Reddit. That's why we're going to be talking about that more. Then we've got a blog, okay? It looks like this is another blog. I haven't seen any social media. I haven't seen LinkedIn. Got more. We can keep scrolling. Okay, we've got more YouTube videos, of course. More blogs. So Google is no longer a website search engine as it's a content search engine. We're finding lots of content. Let's go to page 2. Okay, sponsored links. Let's go past those. I'm looking for LinkedIn or social media. I'm not seeing it. Let's go to page 3. Past the sponsors. Okay, finally, and this is one that I found earlier. You can see it's purple. I clicked on it. So I thought, okay, it took me to page 3. I had to go to page 3 to be able to find it. But finally, here's a LinkedIn article. But guess what happens when I click on it? It's not an article, it's a post. Now, articles and posts are different. Articles are supposed to be evergreen. Posts are obviously not evergreen. This was a post from a year ago, which is like, wait a minute. And you can see up here in the address bar, it says posts. Okay, so this is confusing. So Google does have an index of a post from a year ago. It's just so confusing. So articles, which was my hope for LinkedIn compared to Instagram, compared to Facebook, I thought LinkedIn articles would be something that was indexable and searchable. And now I can't even find them anywhere. I can't find articles on LinkedIn. When you search on LinkedIn, you are shown posts, but you're only shown stuff from the last day or two, or at most a week. But then strangely, if I finally go to page 3 on Google, I see a post, not an article, that's from a year or more ago. So this is not helpful. When I dug into this more to find out what's happening with LinkedIn articles, wouldn't LinkedIn want to make their content more and more searchable? Wouldn't they want Google, wouldn't they want ChatGPT to recommend their content more? Well, back in late 2023, LinkedIn began a campaign to de-emphasize articles. LinkedIn made a shift in its algorithm to focus on short-form feed posts, to focus on video posts, and to focus on image or carousel posts. So as a result, and as you've seen, articles are pretty much hidden. Like, here's what I had to do to be able to search and find articles. There's no way that I could find to do it on LinkedIn. So in order to find an article, and no one's going to do this, you have to type in site: google.com/pulse. This is where articles used to be, but you can't even go to google.com/pulse. Just try it. And then space, type in a topic like how to invest in Airbnb real estate. So if I do that, yeah, I'm not searching google.com, I'm using Google. I meant to type in LinkedIn right here. LinkedIn.com. All right, hit go. All right, so now look, from a year ago, from 8 months ago, from 7 months ago, and I'll just open up some of these in new tabs. Now we find articles. Okay, so here's a LinkedIn article. You can look up top, instead of saying posts, it says Pulse in the address bar. So articles exist somewhere, but LinkedIn has actively been burying them. It is really hard to find articles on LinkedIn. I can't do it. Now, as we look at marketing today, the big shift is that your clients are not scrolling, they're searching. We're searching more today than we have been in the past because we have great tools like ChatGPT. So you've got to create content, not that you post to nurture your existing audience, your friends, your connections on social media. You've got to post content that is indexed, content that is searchable, that will show up in YouTube search, that will show up in Google search, that will show up in ChatGPT. Yeah, today, people that follow the Leaf strategy, they're getting recommended on ChatGPT. It's really cool. So if you've been posting or commenting or spamming people through direct messages on LinkedIn because you're really trying to increase your lead generation, we need to talk. I really want you to increase your lead generation through search. People are searching everywhere for your expertise, but they don't know that you exist. I want your content, your videos to appear in front of them so they see you as the expert, so they reach out to you, so they become leads in your business, and so you can begin having conversations with them. If you go to callnate.net, you can schedule a one-on-one Zoom call with me. So you'll be talking with me. Go to callnate.net. I'll see you there.